What's up, everybody? Headed out to another private game session here in Springfield, Missouri. Last session went really well. Hoping we can follow it up with another win. Things have been looking up lately, so feeling really positive. I think I played pretty well in the last session, actually, which is kind of unusual when I go back over the hands. So anyway, weather's better. As you can see, not a crazy amount of snow outside, so we'll take that. It's currently 46 degrees, so not exactly a tropical heat wave, but hey, not gonna complain. It's February. Let's go ahead and hop into some action. Buying it for 500 bucks. Let's go. Okay, so the very first hand that we're going to look at, almost the very first hand of the session, we look down at two black kings from the big blind. Yeah, picking up a premium right off the bat. There's an under the gun straddle in this pot, so we're pretty happy about that. Under the gun +1 makes it $15 to go. Folds to the small blind, who ends up putting in the call here, and clearly it's time for us to load up a 3-bet. We decided to go with $55. I think I'm okay with this size. I can maybe go 65, but I'm not really feeling bad about this size at all. So it turns out that both my opponents are going to be making the call here without thinking about it for too long. So yeah, I'm not super worried about what the small blind might have, but the under the gun +1 players should have a fairly solid range. Off to see a flop, which comes down Queen 9 with 2 hearts. So not my favorite board, obviously. I think I could actually check here instead of betting, but when the action checks to me, I decide to go ahead and fire out $85. I think this is kind of bad because I'm either way ahead or way behind, but both my opponents fold pretty quickly, so we end up taking down a fairly nice sized pot to get the session started. Always nice to get off to a good start. Sucks we don't make a little bit more with pocket kings, but we are not here to complain about winning hands. A little bit later on, we look down at Ace-10 offsuit from the cutoff. We're starting this hand off with about $600. There's a button straddle in this hand. There are 2 limpers or callers of the button straddle. When the action gets to me, I decide time to go ahead and punish the limpers. We're gonna raise it up here to 20 bucks, which is our normal sizing in a straddle pot. The button and the big blind are unbelievers. They both make the call, so we are going to be off to see a flop here, which comes down a fairly blasé flop, actually. The flop is 8-5-5 rainbow, so obviously a whiff for us. Action ends up checking to me, and I go ahead and bet out 35. I don't know if I love this. Obviously, you're going to have a lot more 8s and 5s than I'm going to have. What ends up happening is the button folds and the big blind calls. So we're a little bit worried, not really sure what we're going to be needing to do on the turn, which comes down a kind of weird one. It's the king of clubs. So that's definitely a great card for me. I'll have all the ace king here, all the king queen, all the king jack, king 10 suited, like lots of different kings. So obviously a great card for me. Big blind ends up checking. I decide it's time to go ahead and keep on representing having something here. I'm not really sure if the story that I'm telling makes any sense at all, which is a pretty big concern when you think about it. But I go ahead and fire out $65. My opponent goes into the tank a little bit. He's thinking about it, trying to decide what to do. Finally lays it down, so we will go ahead and take another pot. Not really sure that I like how I played it at all, but can't argue with the results, so take this one down. Hopefully the next time we bluff, our story makes a little bit more actual sense. While after our bluff with Ace-10 off, we look down at 2 black 9s from the cutoff. We're starting this hand off with about 675 bucks. Under the gun opens it up to 25 bucks in a straddle pot. There are several callers to me. I go ahead and make the call also. Let's see if we can peel off a set here. Would be pretty nice, very multi-way. Flop comes down, ace, queen, 8. So almost a 9. We don't hit our set. Continuation bet happens. We are out of here. So not long after that pocket 9s hand, we look down at pocket 7s from the small blind, starting with about $700. Under the gun straddles, this is a very solid regular player, someone who normally plays higher stakes and that I am not looking to tango against. Someone in early position opens to $15. There are 2 callers, and I call as well. Action gets the under the gun player, who makes it $65. So the action ends up folding to me, And I decide, with how deep we are, I can go ahead and make the call since there's this dead money in there and try and flop my set. So we're off to see a flop, which comes down Jack 9-2. So I don't really know. This is a rainbow board. Obviously it sucks we don't flop a set. I give it the slow check, hoping to see a free turn card, and after he thinks about it for a second, he does check, so I do get to see the free turn, which comes down the 2 of diamonds, so pairs the board, completes the rainbow. I decide to go ahead and take the lead here to pressure hands like ace king, ace queen. Not really sure if that's a good idea. I bet out $55 and he makes the call. So he thinks about it for a second, so I don't really know. River comes down, the 4 of spades, so I decide to go ahead and keep telling this story. I bet out $85, hoping that he will fold something like ace king or ace queen, or I guess even call. Unfortunately, he snap calls, and he shows us pocket kings. So I was never ahead in that hand, obviously. I never saw that coming. That is not how I would have thought he would play a hand like pocket kings. So yeah, very, very weird. Very weird. I don't really know what to make of this, but we lose that hand. Is kind of a big one. Yeah, I just don't really know. Let me know what you guys think. So after that pocket sevens hand, I got pretty frustrated, decided since my phone was about to die also, I'm just gonna go ahead and write these hands down and report them the old fashioned way. So a while later, we look down at a7 of spades from the button, starting this hand with about 450. There's an under the gun straddle. I go ahead and open to $15. Obviously a mistake, I should be opening to 20. Although with the action folding to me, I guess it's not so bad. The big blind calls and the under the gun player calls. So we are off to see a flop, which comes down a pretty good one for us. Flop is 10-9-3 with the 10 and 9 of spades. So flopping, draw to the nuts right off the bat. Great spot for us. Action checks to me. I go ahead and bet $30 and only the big blind, which is the player from the pocket sevens hand, who is the very good high stakes reg, makes the call. So we are off to see a turn, which comes down a pretty great one for us. Turn is the jack of spades. So we are turning the absolute nuts here. Feel great about the spot. Time to figure out how we can get as much money as possible. The big blind checks. I decide to go ahead and bet out here for $65. I don't hate this at all. I think this is pretty okay. He goes well into the tank and I am sitting there just praying for a call or a raise or something. And it was really weird. I felt like I was having trouble controlling my breathing. I don't know. It's one of those weird deals. Like if you start thinking about how you're breathing, then you start like changing how you're breathing. So anyway, pretty unhappy with that. I doubt it actually played into it at all because he's not one of those people that like stares at you. So I don't think he probably would have even noticed. And maybe it wasn't noticeable to anybody besides me. Anyway, he eventually puts in the fold, so we win that hand, but wanted to win a whole lot more sitting there with the nuts on the turn. So this is a bad one. I look down at 9-6 of spades from middle position 1, starting this hand off with about 550 bucks. I end up limping pre-flop. Yeah, guys, I limped. And it ends up going 5 ways to the flop, so I guess we got what we wanted with our limp. Flop comes down, a pretty interesting one. Flop is Jack 7-2 with the jack of spades. Action checks around, which seems kind of crazy, but whatever. Turn comes down the 5 of spades, so one of the best turns in the deck for us, like overall. Action checks the button, who bets 20. I decide to go ahead and put in the check raise here to $65. Unfortunately, he makes the call, so we are off to see a river, which comes down the 9 of hearts. So now we have some showdown value. Pretty weird. I expect him to have a jack a lot of the time. We end up both checking and he shows us pocket aces. I have no idea how that's the hand he ends up with here, but yeah, obviously we lose this one. Would have been really nice to hit a flush and get some value out of it, pocket aces, but oh well, on to the next one. Not very happy with how we played that. Obviously not happy that we limped ever. A while after that, we look down at 6-5 of spades this time from middle position, starting the hand with about $480. I go ahead and open it up to 20 bucks in a straddle pot and get 3 callers. So we're going very multi-way to a flop, which same old, that's what's gonna happen all the time in this game. Flop comes down 8-4-6 with the 8 and 4 of diamonds. So kind of a weird flop for us. Yeah, got a lot of possibilities here.
Action checks to me, I'm gonna go ahead and c-bet most of the time on this board, especially when I have like a suited connected hand. I bet out $65 and we get 2 callers this time. So off to see a turn, which comes down a pretty terrible card. The turn is the 5 of diamonds. So yeah, we turn 2 pair here, so that's nice, but diamonds come in and the straight draw comes in. So yeah, this is just a big old yikes, especially when the small blind, who is just for sure a nit, bets out $140. I snap fold. I'm pretty sure everybody folded, so he just took it down. Yeah, there's just no way this is worse than a 7. It's probably almost never worse than a flush. Actually, yeah, it's never even a 7. It's only a flush. So we fold, sucks, but what are you gonna do? So after quite a while, we looked down at pocket tens from the button. We were all the way down to like $180 or $200. We're feeling pretty annoyed with how the session has gone. Just not feeling very good. Obviously being down money, not gonna feel very good. So I go pocket tens here. We are looking to double up kind of. There's an open from under the gun who is the nit that we played the 6-5 hand against. So that's gonna be a big eye roll from me. There are 4 callers, guys, 4 callers. So he opens to 20 and there are 4 callers. I don't think I have a whole lot of options here. I guess I could just call. I decide to just rip it in. Maybe there's a little frustration going on. I'm not sure, but I don't think that's a terrible play, being short stacked with 180 in front of me. Anyway, ends up folding back to the nit who makes the call. We know we're probably in trouble. Best case scenario is we're flipping against ace king. Unfortunately, while he does have a king, he does not have an ace. He has another king. So run out does not help us. We end up bricking this one off. Pretty disappointing results. Felt like it could have went a lot better. Not very happy with how we played. And yeah, just sucks. Well, really no reason to try to sugarcoat it. I don't really like how we played in this episode. We buy in for $500, out for 0, so that really sucks. Yeah, I don't know, just really couldn't find any great spots, I guess. And I think the decent spots that I had, I may have slightly mismanaged or slightly misplayed, so oh well, you'll have that every once in a while. Don't forget, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Doing both those things really helps keep me motivated to make more videos. I'm gonna put a link down in the description to the Stump the Spread March Madness bracket. I know they're gonna give first place a free month of premium picks, and I think they're gonna give out a free week to the top 2 or 3 also. So hop in there, make some picks. Good luck with your brackets. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you next time. Hopefully I can bring you a win. Try and bounce back strong from this. Thanks for watching. See you later.